Then what? Switch. Man. Come on, man. No, it's supposed to go to Yeah, how did he miss that? Come on, man. Come on, man. Fucking Roku ain't hitting nothing. Yeah, man. Let's go, Ben. Oh, you gotta get up on him. Shit. Get in there. Let's go, Roku.
And myself, what I'm focused on is today and going out there and, we're focused on this one game. That's it. And that's how you approach every week. You don't look too far ahead, but I'm 100% confident in myself. I've been here before. I've played in the league. I've played for the Eagles before.
Motion of his offense, just wants to see more of it. Yeah, they're working together well. The key now is to try to do it consistently throughout the rest of this evening. Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. It's a terrific game so far. And Oklahoma City, look at who they've got to start the fourth quarter. Inside, it's Patterson and Allen. Then it's Hinton. Then there's Felton. And it's a Breeze into the two. Now, here's Fultz. Good for another field goal. Number 5 of the night. 5 for 10 shooting. Another bucket down low. They taking the ball inside and attacking at the rim. Here's Anthony.
Cash money. Switch.
The shot holds. He's checked in for the 76ers. And his vision also for Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's tied in for Patterson. Here's the screen. Walsh gets to Matthews. Johnson dishes to Bell.
Ah. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Oh, he not missing that. Come on. Get back. Come on, 2K. Now the dumb shit about to start. Now the dumb shit about to start. Now the dumb shit about to start. My bad, JoJo. Come on, JJ. You better make that, man. Come on, man. This shit close. He can't shoot free throws. That's first off. Too small, man. Oh, man. Fuck. Let's go, Benjamin. Nigga can't shoot, man. Let's go, Ben. He gonna make him tough. Dude cannot shoot free throws. Let's go, Ben. Ah. There we go, baby. 4-point game. It's not a foul. Phantom ass fouls. Give me another one. Oh my God. Serious. Look up price, man. Get up. Tough shot. Fuck. Let's go, Ben. Yes. Woo! 2-point game. Who I stick with? Ben Simmons? How you the player of the game? Come on, man.
I'm sure people got more points than him. Andrew Roberts.
Yo, they marked me. That's crazy.
You got like 3 people.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. But I spun off of Westbrook and they marked me. They slowed me down.
Ew, you can't. Why you blue?
2K be scamming, man. Then I'm gonna tell your mom.
Come on, you go. Mommy, she's changing. Yourself. Don't change it. Do that. Just move it. Mommy, go and change you. One more. This way.
So your mom needs to return?
Yeah.
2K scheming.
Whoa. Right. Okay.
I didn't mean to press it.
because he was more athletic, he had more energy, he could go all out on more possessions than he can or does right now. And LeBron James was in the top 10 2 years in his career in terms of individual defense. It's not this year.
Is he going to be first team all defense this year?
It was the last. No! It's going to be close. He probably won't even make. He definitely won't be first team all defense.
You're saying definitely?
Yes, I'm definitely.
Can we put a wager on this?
Dinner on you.
Dinner. Here it is.
How are you telling
LeBron
me?
will be first team all defense this season, health pending, obviously, unless he gets
because he's blocking how many shots a game?
Put your money where your mouth is.
How many shots a game is he blocking?
Career high. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I mean, I don't have the. Sorry, I don't have 15 pages of notes.
Give me somebody in here.
It's all up here. Up here, people.
No,
all right, so 2-0 McIntyre. I'm going for the sweep. All right, now this is a little off the hardcore NBA topic, but your guy, we like asking questions about Chris's people, LeVar Ball in the news this week. Pulled his son out of UCLA. I'm disgusted by this. Again, I've been okay on LeVar sometimes. I know he has a large fan base online, but the way I'm viewing this, Chris, he's now pulled his high school son out of high school, and a college freshman who had a full ride to UCLA, pulled him out of school, and he's now going to instruct him to go overseas and basically act as shoe salesman for the big ball.
That's your theory, or
that's my theory. He's pulling them out. He's just according to a couple reporters today, he's looking into China, but their league has started. China, of course, is a big portal.
He'll be popular over there,
of course,
considering what trying to steal.
And then he's looking into Europe, where he can prepare them for the NBA. Listen, we know LiAngelo will not sniff the NBA, okay? I believe you have a theory on him. I'll let you get to that later. Chris, I think this is abhorrent behavior, and I just feel like his kids need to start to push back against him and say, Dad, listen, I know you did a lot for Lonzo. You've been great to us, but it's time we need to stand on our own. Let me go to school. Let me carve my own path. I think LeVar crossed the line here.
Well, I can't defend what he's done recently. Pulling both your kids, I mean, LaMelo's not in high school, LiAngelo's not at UCLA in college. And what I don't like about the LiAngelo situation is that he's blaming UCLA for punishing LiAngelo, and he's not putting any of the blame on LiAngelo, at least not publicly. I mean, maybe, hopefully he's doing it privately. LiAngelo is, first of all, lucky he's not still in China. Secondly, he's lucky he didn't get expelled from UCLA. Thirdly, they could have suspended him all season and it would have been appropriate. So I do agree that, the way he's handled the LiAngelo situation, I can't defend that. Now, the problem, what's happening is he's talked so much, and right now his kids aren't living up to the talk. LiAngelo is not an NBA player and not going to be an NBA player. Lonzo, will see what he becomes. Okay, LaMelo, we'll have to wait and see. I don't like that he's not playing. I talked to LaMelo after one of the Lakers games early in the season, and he was just saying he's playing pickup at some gym with a bunch of guys. At 24-hour fitness, whatever it is. So he's got to get him better competition.
No structure.
And LeVar's done a good job of preparing them to be good at the levels they're at, but he's not going to teach them as much as a great college coach or an NBA coach. Lonzo doesn't run the pick and roll very well. Lonzo doesn't shoot very well. Lonzo's not strong enough, and people keep telling me about his endurance as a question. That's because he's being coached by LeVar instead of being coached by real professional coaches. There's a difference. And so I agree with you on that, Chris. I don't know about this happening. I don't think he's pimping his kids or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far. But I believe that, the way he's handled this is not good. And what I think LiAngelo needs to do is go try to play football.
It's not bad.
It sounds funny, but
no.
He's 6'6", 240. You look at Tony Gonzalez, Jimmy Graham, Antonio Gates. These are guys, Julius Thomas. They went from basketball in college to playing tight end in the NFL. He's got the size. I don't know if he's got the toughness or not. I'm not trying to diss. He hasn't been hit, but I think he's got a better chance of making the NFL than he does the NBA.
You just led me into something, and we can wrap on this. I wonder, Chris, how much is what's going on with his brothers? Okay? Pulled out of high school. Middle brother leaves UCLA after getting arrested in China. How much is impacting Lonzo Ball in the NBA? I mean, think about this normal, okay? I got a little brother. You have, I assume, siblings. When they're going through some stuff, it's impacting you. And you toss in family stuff and health, and his dad's name is in the news. At some point, this is a 20-year-old kid, Lonzo Ball. I think it has to be impacting him mentally. Not to mention guys like Jamal Murray going at him on the court, Patrick Beverly, everybody's going at him. A media crush. I just feel like this is a lot for Lonzo Ball that was unanticipated when you toss in the brothers.
The one thing obviously the negative things that have happened with mainly LiAngelo, that could have an effect on him, but I think they're used to craziness. I think growing up with LeVar being the way he is, I think he's used to these types of distractions, people going at him.
And that was local, though. That was in Chino Hills.
I hear it. Well,
maybe on the AAU circuit a little bit.
And then college, he dealt with it in college.
Not to be over. This is on a global scale right now, okay? The China thing was big news. It was leading the Today Show and Good Morning. That's a big spotlight. Anywhere he goes on social media now, Lonzo's seeing his dad, his brother. At some point,
I mean, his dad's on CNN.
He's human, right? He's human.
It's probably impacting him somewhat, no question. But what I'll say is, I don't think that's why he's not playing as well as he is. I think those things are basketball related, his game. But yeah, I'm sure this is impacting.
What's your line? His game is his game. I think he likes it. He patented that.
Your game.
Put that on a T-shirt. Sell that.
And your lack of game is your lack of game.
Okay.
Good job today. I won 2. I think I won 2. You won 1. I don't think you won it. You tied 1.
Oh my goodness.
Embiid, LeBron, great, but
you gotta get Embiid. You gotta get Embiid in the zone.
Let me tell you something about the zone. We would love to get Embiid. We're gonna try. You don't come into the zone though, great on the curve.
Yeah.
We don't play that.
LeBron doesn't need a curve.
Play that. That's like us playing 1-on-1 and me spotting you. Points.
I don't need points. I don't need points. I'll let you play with 2, then I'll only shoot 1.
You would need points.
Come at me, bro.
All right, J-Mac, thanks a lot, man. It's always a pleasure having you. My punching bag, my human punching bag, my speed bag. Look, if you enjoyed In the Zone this week, and boy, it was a great one. We had a top 5 that will spark debate. We had Jared Jack with some great stories, some really good insights from him, the NBA veteran. And of course, Knockdown Jay with Jason. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. Leave us a comment as well and 5 stars. And Jason gets mad that nobody writes anything good about him on the comments. So, I get it. I understand why, but do my man a favor. Help him sleep better at night and write something nice about J-Mac. We'll catch you guys next week on In the Zone.
guys think about the Warriors so far? Through that first period, to be careful on the glass.
Buttery Club crackers at the holidays, straight from the box, or deliciously topped. Oh. You're blocking my shot.
What's happening, family? It's your man Nazar. Welcome to Sim Hangout episode number 80. This is a huge episode for us tonight. We got a three-man skeleton crew running tonight. I don't know, Books may pop in, he may not. But for tonight, it's me and my two amigos. I want to introduce them right away. We don't want to take no time off of it, man. Introducing first, Matt Miller, a.k.a. Matty Ice, H-Town's finest, the host of the Unquestionably Raw podcast. How you doing this evening, Matt?
Outstanding. Just got back from watching a JV basketball game, and I gotta tell a quick story real quick. And the freshman game was ending, and this 6'2" white dude, slow as mud, puts a basic slow ass behind the back dribble move on dude and made him fall.
Oh, not a slow move.
Yes, a slow behind the back dribble, and dude just tumbled.
Oh man,
And the bleachers were just in tears. It was funny.
He's on YouTube right now, ain't he?
He probably is, man. It was such a slow move. It's like when you're watching your replay in 2K and you put it in slow mo. That's how the move was. That was his move in full speed. It was terrible.
Sometimes somebody can move so slow that it's fast. You know what I mean? Like you overreacted. Well, they say that's the same thing with Kyle Anderson. They say that he moves so slow, and people are used to guarding such faster players that that's why he's getting his shot off. They say people jumping to block his shot before he's ready to shoot. Smooth Mo. All right, Sam. And next up, next up is brother Brian Mazik, a.k.a. franchise play, featured writer for Forbes, creator of one of the dopest Legends rosters out there. Please welcome my man, Brian Mazik. How you doing this evening?
I'm chilling. I'm doing good, man. And I appreciate you talking about the slow moves to make people fall. Those are all of the moves I do, man. Every time I do a move, it's slow. I'm gonna put together a videotape of my array of post moves.
Oh,
I got about 5 of them, man. I got about 5.
Man, you got to upload that because I can take it to my students and show them what not to do in the post. You know what I mean?
However, I can be helpful with pertinent assistance we can get.
Hey, Mazik, man, before I get to the shout out section, we want to go through acknowledge everybody in the chat. It's show number 80, man. And shout out to my man Greedy Rashid, who talked about the fact that we had 79 Sim radio shows.
Yeah.
And then we had 79 Sim Hangouts, so we breaking into new territory tonight. And tonight I'm going to award one of our loyal chat members, somebody showing up all the time, with what we call dinner in a movie. Now, Big Mama talked bad about me because I was talking about like $25. She was like, "Who gonna see movie and have dinner with $25, Zach?"
Well, hey, one movie ticket may be $25.
Gotta go to the college.
That's why I was like, yeah, I said McDonald's, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't say you was going to be healthy, but anyway, we got that going down tonight, everybody in the chat room. But I wanted to ask you a question, brother. Have you been playing any pickup ball lately?
You better believe it. I have. I played today, and I had to pray. Man, this is good dude, man. And he's not, the dude can play, right? But he always comes in there fresh off of the weights. Right? You already know. He already come in there, he come in the gym sweat really hard. And then what makes it so bad is one of his eyes is it don't chill with the rest of the group, right? One of his eyes is doing some different stuff, blinking, hollering, kicking up dust, whatever he's doing. So I didn't say nothing with first. And everybody knows this dude is a crybaby, whines and cries. And he's kind of muscular, right? But he feel like he can foul you however he want to foul you. But if you touch him, oh God, I'm like, dude, really? So he he goes to the back. I wouldn't shoot the ball that good today, so everything I did had to be on the drive. So I'm driving to the basket, trying to win this 32. And then, like I said, the dude can play, right? So if you let him set his feet, he pure, right? So he's shooting the ball, and he almost had a chance to win. So he's driving to the basket, and I'm realizing you gotta make him drive, because once he sets his feet, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. So I started attacking and making him put the ball on the floor. He goes to the basket, misses a couple layups. I said, okay, I got him. He ain't finished. He said, I ain't finishing. I ain't finishing. Feedback from your girl in intimate encounters, bro. You ain't I ain't finishing that doggone series. Right. Like, what kind of finishing you think I know? And he really mad. I ain't finishing. I came from the doctor. It's 60 hours. I should be able to finish. I'm like, what is wrong with you? So he's going to basket. So now I get a little upset. I said, bro, I'm going to tell you just like this. If we were playing a one-on-one, you wouldn't be able to stop me if you had a red optic eye. You understand? No way in the world you would stop me. I said, you have never seen as much black booty in your face as you would unless you're watching African-American porno movies, all right? So that's all you gonna see. Every time you try to guard me, it's black booty in your face. Black booty. That's all you gonna see. All right? He started backing him down. He called himself reaching for a steal. But the dude wasn't reaching for a steal. This dude socked me in the mouth, up under my arm. No. So I just stopped, right? Because I'm telling you, Hood Brian is on his way. On his way to the game. Right? So I said, dude, you socked me in the mouth. What? I said, I know you felt that on your fist. And I said, bro, I've been punched quite a bit in my life, from boxing and street fights. I've been punched. I know what a fist feel like, all right? There wasn't no open hand slap, homie. So then he goes out to take the jump shot, and I swear I ran out boy, if I hit your lips and your face and your chest, everything together, I don't care. But then I just stopped. I stopped. I said, because if I close around this little dude right here, if I close, the next thing I'm doing is I'm trying to take his back and choke him out. All the next thing I do, I'm going, I said, no, don't do it.
Cooler heads prevail, Brad.
I don't do it, man. Don't do it. Oh, man. After the game, he told me, you a clown. You a clown. I said, you look like the heavy kid.
Oh, wow.
I said, and he said, who is that? I said, he's a black midget. The heavy kid, right now.
Oh, God.
I said, that's why I'm coming here. I said, and everybody here wish you didn't come today. I said, do you know that when you was walking up to the court, somebody whispered to me, I can't stand playing with that dude? He said, who said that? I said,
oh, Charles, I can't take it. That's it.
I said, no matter.
So this is the guy that nobody likes.
Oh, man.
You know what you should have told me? Like, no, I don't like you. They don't like you. No woman doesn't like you.
Oh my God, man. I ain't been that mad on basketball in a long time. Dude, I blocked this shot when I was mad. I said, my mama said I can't have no company. Stop bringing my Boy,
you gonna start a fight, man.
He got so mad, dude. If he could have bit his own cheek off, he was so mad. I said, well, you don't want to start no trash talk. I'm gonna win. I promise you I'm gonna win.
Hey, you say he's a big dude, right? Hopefully he's not on them roids, man. You know what it does to feed it? Roid rage, man.
He ain't that big, man. He's muscular, but he's a smaller guy. And like he's a small stature guy. I'm like, little boy, you better stop.
Little boy. All right, franchise, I can't take no more, man. I'm already sweating. The show just started. Oh man, let me get to the shout out section, man. We're gonna have a section called Franchise Hoop Stories.
I played in tape, so I have one.
Hey, I want to welcome first time to the chat, Shaheem Turner. What's going on, family? Thanks for coming through. We're giving our shout out section. The Slider, Orlando Teal, who will be on the show next week. Shouts out to Orlando. Got the Glow, who's the master. Who else we got? My man Dre Key. All our moderators, Dre. Got the Glow. Let's see who else we got out here. Official Swisher TV said it's his first hangout ever. He likes high IQ talk. He's here to check things out. I told him, well, we probably mid IQ, mid to low IQ. I don't know about the high IQ. We mid to low. Keep your expectations in check. Marco asks, what's going on, family? First time watching live too. So if it's your first time here, man, I always like to say welcome home, man. This is the Sim Hangout where we talk about basketball, video games, and life, and where they do and do not intersect. And sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, family. That's just what it is. And that's what you're welcome to the League of Distinguished Gentlemen. That's what we are here at the Sim Nation. A regular shout out section. Shout out to Big Mama, producer of Sim Hangout and all things Sim Nation. The homie DJ Gonzo Star, internationally known, locally accepted. K Dre and Pito, Sage Infinite, Crazy Girl 84. I see you. Shoe Collector, come out and play with your people, Shoe. Shady 00018, NYC The Future, Online Nation, Dangerous D Block, Spatial Zone, aka Eastwick's Baller. Let's see, got some live viewers. And from our YouTube channel, people that show up at the YouTube channel and leave comments, we always appreciate that, whether you watch the show live or whether you watch it afterwards. B. Cuda, what's going on, family? J. Mark Guy, Butterfly Effect, Super Lion 2003, Lorenzo DC, Timothy Webb, what's going on, family? Nam Omar, we see you. Greg Smith, Luke Allen, and Gulheem Harrison. I hope I said that correctly. Now, Gulheem showed up and said this, and I didn't know. You know how sometimes you can't tell if somebody dissing you or what? But Gulheim said, how long until the Sim Hangout comes out of a loot box? And I wasn't sure if he was trying to tell me the show is good enough for us to be paid, or is he clowning 2K? I don't know. That shout out is conditional on whether you was clowning me. So we got a conditional shout out there for that person right there. Yes, sir.
You know, anybody who is a part of the 2K community, especially if you like really kind of look deeply into it, y'all really need to follow Greg Smith. That dude is super bright and super logical, and whenever and super logical, that's not like an MC name, the name of the Greg.
That's my man, super logical on the mic.
My man, super logical. But yeah, Greg is really, really, like, he always has really.
God, these dudes be cheesers, man. All you gotta do in 2K this year, throw the ball in bounds and rush down the court and get a layup every time. Shit, not summon up. Zigzag. Rebound. Rebound to me everything, man. Oh, God. God damn. Come on, man. Dunk the fucking ball. And that's good. Oh. That's it. That's all they do. Come on. And he makes it. Yo, are you serious? Like, this shit ain't even fun, man. Like, god damn. That's all. And he just blew past everybody. Just blew past everybody, man. going now. God. You gonna pull it. Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook. $13. Quinn Cook is ass. Fucking, he got 13. Come on, man. So I play now online as ass this year. Like, you should have been good. You zigzag and fucking get wins, man. Shit's stupid. What are you doing?
I broke my way. When the world.
I was up against the wall.
Good feedback, sensible things to plug in gaps. So if y'all don't follow him, you on Twitter, you
Absolutely. And also for the people that sending me friend invites on the PS4, make sure you got to put your some name that I know you by, because I don't just accept all the friends, because some of them people is crazy. So if you like come to a sim hangout and you like my name on here, it's got the glow or whatever my name is, put that in your invite so I can see that and I say, oh, I'm familiar with this person. This person's not crazy, etc. And I can accept the invite. All right. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, I got a little section of the show where I call it development questions, with questions that people may ask me on YouTube or Twitter that relate to development or just relate to the game. So Bakuda showed up and he said, hey, I feel the need to make a point on the whole road to 99 thing. It's really frustrating to see this race to 99 rewarding people who get there quicker by putting it on easy mode and not having a challenge, while players who want to play better ball in the challenge of a better AI opposition get no reward for Hall of Fame level, as of course it takes longer to get to 99. This ruined the experience for me this year on what is such a good game. Why reward people for not competing against the best the game has to offer? It makes the improvements obsolete. My idea would be to separate the rewards for who does it on what level of difficulty. Anyone else have an opinion on this? And he asked for our opinion. So I wanted to throw that out there. We want to discuss this from B. Kuda. What are your thoughts, B. Mazik, on the race to 99, people putting it on rookie, maybe possibly advancing a little bit faster? What are your thoughts?
I kind of think that I do understand what they're saying there. I don't know that it's a huge deal. But I do kind of understand what they're saying. I think like there should be if somebody wants to get to a 99 using easy mode, I think they should. It's two things. I think they should be allowed to do it, but perhaps they should have like classes. Like you're a 99 first class. Doesn't mean this percentage of your activities took place on easy mode. If a higher percentage of your activities took place on a higher difficulty level, then you're a 99 supreme. And then a person who got to 99 with their stuff on Hall of Fame, then you're a 99 ultimate or something like that. And then so that classification, it has like the classification that you can see when people are online. Now, the other thing that you can do is, and this is something that I've always been a proponent of, I think they should have offline My Player and online My Player. Because from the esports standpoint and the competitive gamer standpoint, I totally understand why I can't make Manute Bol shoot like Steph Curry. I understand. But if I want to do that in the privacy of my own home, I feel like I should be able to do that. And I think the reason that you can't, I know why they put those stop gaps there, but some people want to make a freak that they can play with at home and do different stuff with. So if you allow them to do that on an offline standpoint, then that would work. And perhaps with the Road to 99 thing, you say, all right, if you want to go to 99 playing on easy, fine, but you can't use that character in the park, or you can't use that character in Pro-Am. In order to use your character in Pro-Am, your difficulty has to at least be on All-Star.
I like that, B. You had some excellent suggestions, man. I think in this day and age, the simple fact of the matter is that the majority of gamers don't want a challenge. They want to know, how do I cheese this game to get the maximum effect so that I can get all these points and all these coins and all this whatever. These cats is not into no challenges by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so you have that where I'm all in with Bakuda. You know, I feel like, and I love your idea about classes. The whole idea behind 99 this year, though, was to have one number. You look at this number, you know what this guy, not I'm this on the streets, I'm this in the NBA, this is what your number is. And it took a lot of work behind the scenes to get everything to pour into that one number. I don't know if I could talk them into them breaking that out by classes, but I personally think that shit is brilliant. If I play on Hall of Fame, I wouldn't be known as the ultimate class, and I want people to see that. So for Bakuda, I understand and I agree. I think the vast majority of gamers are not where we at, where we personally are at as the Sim Nation, the type of challenges that we want, the type of things that we want to have. The majority of the community just wants to pay whatever they got to pay and become 99 tomorrow. As close as they can get to that, I think that's where they want to be. And I'm talking about, now you guys got to remember, 2K is at the 8-9 million sales mark. Right. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's 1 million sim gamers out there, that means it's 8 million, 7 million dudes that just want to pay it up, and move forward. What are your thoughts on this, Matt?
I'm not a my player guy, I'll be the first to admit, but I understand the gripe, and I'll come at it from like a play now online, point of view. When you get in there, and I like to run offenses. Like I've been using Utah and Philadelphia recently online, and Utah is extremely hard to score with in the game. They don't really have anybody besides maybe Donovan Mitchell in the game that can just create and get to the basket. So I always get matched up with Toronto all the time. They just want to take DeMar DeRozan, drive to the bucket recklessly. They get rewarded for playing recklessly. I'm out there. I'm running the Jazz motion offense, running some plays from the playbook and stuff. And I'm struggling, but this guy just wants to be reckless, getting fouls, hitting crazy shots. And so I can understand the gripe from a my player at. These dudes want, like you said, they want to take the easy way out. They don't want to work for it. They want to get their guy to 99 first. It doesn't matter how they do it. I want the easiest way. It's like they don't want to be good in the game.
Yeah, nobody wants to be good. They just want to be effective. You know what I mean? And I can't hold that against them. But there's not enough of us saying we want a different type of game. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Usually, a lot of the people that come show up at the Sim Hangout are not going to show up in a forum and complain. They're not really going to get involved in any type of Twitter protests or Twitter where they have the polls or anything of that nature. So you have this movement who has an opinion, but they don't really care enough to share their opinion. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go out there, but them dudes that are online all the time, anytime there's a poll, they're voting it. Anytime there's a forum, they're in there. Anytime they're on here, they're on there. And so they're really the group that's being heard. I think I tried to galvanize more of the Sim Nation over the last couple of years, trying to get them ready. Hey, you guys got to get out here. You guys got to, be vocal. But until you get that really on a high level, so we can see how many of us out there are there that want to have these challenges. I remember the time when 2K put in the, what was it, guys, the simulation lobby or something, and we put it in and nobody used it. You know what I'm saying? And anytime we do something like that and y'all don't use it for whatever reason, whether it's not good enough, whatever, the other people that we had to fight tooth and nail to get it put in the game, they're like, see, I told you. You know what I mean? And so it almost becomes a catch-22. So when you have those options that are put in there for you, you got to use them. You know what I mean? You got to use those options, and we got to let our voice be heard. We try to be here at the Sim Nation to try to be a galvanizing point, but it can't just be me. I work for the company now. I can't carry the flag outside the company as well. Somebody else got to carry it. And I think what people are finding is it's a shitload of work, and it's ungrateful work. And they like, wait a minute, you start comparing yourself to the bigger YouTubers and they getting more views and yeah, welcome to my world.
I'm definitely preach to the choir there because it's like, dude, really? You're talking about like, okay, there's 1 million people who want to play the game this way, and then there's another 7 to 8 million that don't. Piggybacking off that same concept, there are maybe 2 million people who are vocal on the different social media platforms. Mm-hmm. But the other 5 to 6 are not vocal, and they just playing the game there however it comes out. They're finding these exploits. They're saying, oh, you know what, if you play blah, 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 blah like this, then you don't have to do all that. And they don't care nothing about people complaining. They don't care nothing about people complaining about VC. They don't care nothing about people complaining about microtransactions. They're like, you know what? This is the game. This is the platform. It's been set up. Boom. Dude, I wrote the article a while back, and I got more hate mail for any article I've ever written than when I got this one. And it was my thoughts on the whole VC microtransaction thing. In my opinion, man, it really comes down to self-control. That's what it comes down to.
fundamentals in basketball to help you improve your park game and definitely get more park wins. Is the whole concept of
moments away in the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Damn, I wanted to switch my sneaks, but alright, whatever.
Hey, DJ. Wait. Everything about basketball. Yeah, the DJ I take. I call him. Wait here. He's I let him. Don't make me cry. Oh, I got you. I'm there.
You know, people get so caught up in trying to compete with the person who has 99 or the person who's a 90, and we've lost the whole concept of, hey man, enjoy the game in your house. Enjoy the game in your house. You're in the crib, enjoy the game. So they get mad because they're grinding. They're not willing to pay for these microtransactions, or in this case, you're not willing to put your game on easy.
Right.
But now you get mad because you're looking at somebody else who's saying, hey, game lets me do it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna get a 99. Or the game lets me pay my way to a 90, so I'm gonna pay my way to a 90. And you have these principles. Not, you don't have legit restrictions. So it's not even a financial restriction. In some instances, it's not even a time restriction. You have principles that you don't want to go past. But you playing in this area where these people are like, dude, I'm gonna do what they let me do.
Yeah.
You know, if people get on me for playing off-ball defense sometimes. Like, dude, if you got Kyrie Irving, I'm off-ball defending. You understand me? I'm help defending. That's what I'm doing. The game allows me to do that. That is a strategy in my point. And some people get this badge of honor. I on-ball defend. Yes, and your ankles have been broken 72 times.
Yeah, and B, on that point, I've always advocated for guarding the point of attack, right? If somebody's beating me in pick and roll, maybe it's more effective for me to guard the hedge man because, you know, I'm implementing some defensive strategy, or I want to guard the help man to make sure that guy doesn't help, or I want to help at a certain time, or I want to do a rotation that I want to do. So I've never been on the only guard the ball at all times. If you're playing me, I want to strategically defeat you, right? If you're doing something, I want to take that away. Whatever player I need to control to do that, I think that's fair game, you know. But I do understand the argument for the dudes that run from playing on ball. You know what I'm saying? You pass the dude to dude, he already switched to the other side of the floor. He switched to this dude, he switched to this. I got a problem with them dudes.
I was playing a dude like that. He had the all-time Lakers. I think I was using the 15-16 Warriors. He had the all-time Lakers. You know, the all-time Lakers. You can be trash and still win with them.
Right.
So I'm playing this dude, and you know he doesn't have his mic, but I got my mic on, and I'm calling him a mark, every name I can think of, and he doesn't have his mic. And so and this is kind of to get to what Brian was saying. He sends me a message. He wasn't mad. He wasn't saying I was an idiot. He was like, "Why are you so mad? I just picked this team, and they matched me up. That's not my fault." So I get what Brian's saying, and when he said that, I'm like, "Damn, he he makes a good point.
Right.
Dude, I'm like, dude, because honestly, if you off-ball defend, there's a way to exploit that. You know, because if you're good enough off the dribble, and the computer is not going to, the best on-ball defender on the computer is not going to beat the best off-ball defense that you get from the CPU is not going to be good enough to beat a guy who is really truly skilled at breaking you down off the dribble. So it's really just a defensive strategy. If I use that strategy, you have to look at that the same way as you look at a 2-3 zone or a man-to-man, and you have to find the weaknesses in that strategy. Yeah. The problem is most people ain't good enough off the dribble to make that to make the CPU pay.
Right. I want to get into this real quick. My boy Greedy Rashidi, Real 2K Insider, says, but this is also because shot percentages increase if the player isn't guarding the ball. And I wanted to talk about this because people requested that of us many, many years ago. They were like, look, if I'm guarding the ball, I should, basically saying the AI defending a shot shouldn't be the same as a user defending the shot. So that was users who play now online requested that of us. We put that in the game, and now people are like, I don't know about that because now, they feel like you have to guard the ball to get the highest percentage shot challenge. And we're like, yeah, that's what you asked for. You know what I mean? So so that's what they're talking about in the chat. Shout out to Greedy Rashidi. Lil Spaz 57, I see you, fam. NY Kia 31, what's going on? So I got to keep the shout out section alive. But I understand this point, and Brian, you bring up an excellent point. I think it's all about strategy, and Books is always telling us that in the realm of competition, in the realm of competitive gaming, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? And so I think we as developers have to do a better job of making the game that we want people to play. Right now, I don't think it's a secret that our on-ball defensive mechanics, the movement system, it improved from last year, but it's still not where it needs to be to match up one-on-one with the ball handler. A great ball handler has a better advantage than a great defender. That's a gameplay mechanic. That's something that we're not happy with. But that's something that's hard to bring into control while still, this is the key, having a free-flowing ball handler, right? And so that's the key. People don't want to feel restricted as a ball handler, but at the same time, we got to bring that into balance with the defensive movement. If you played 2K a long time, you know that defensive movement has always been bad. But we've upgraded the motion system several times this generation alone trying to fix that issue. This year was year one. That doesn't mean we're done with that. That means, hey, let's make it responsive. Now, let's make it a little bit more explosive. So if you got vision, you can see where we're going with that. Right? The game we release is not always the game we wanted to release. We had visions on wanting to do more, but you run out of time. So we say, all right, year one, let's just make it so that it's responsive. We know that the defender himself doesn't have as much explosion as the offensive player. That's something that we could look to in the future. Okay? So we're not done with that motion. That's just year one implementation on the defensive side. And if you look all over the game, defensively, the game has improved. But did we fix all the holes? No, we didn't. But some people just look at the holes and say this game is worse than 2K17. That's not true, especially defensive. It's a lot of logic work went in, a lot of motion work went in, but it's just not enough. The defense, unfortunately, this is going to sound like boasting, but it's several years behind my offense because I've been working on that offense year over year for several years in a row. You know what I mean? And the stuff we put in, NBA offenses have a difficult time defending. So until we get all of that information and all of that logic that NBA defenses have, the defense is going to continue to struggle. But we're going to try to bring it into balance without not working on offense for 2 to 3 years to allow it to catch up. So it's going to take some time to get there. Go ahead. Where'd you get?
If I'm being honest, that mechanic that you were just talking about from a gameplay standpoint, that's the lone gameplay thing that I like better in live than I do in 2K. Yeah. The dynamic between the ball handler and the primary defender, that little mini game, they did extremely well. And they even articulated visually on the court well. If you cut a defender off, if you cut a ball handler off successfully, you get the green arrow, whether or not you're going left or right. And that's a visual reward that's akin to a green release on a jump shot. And if you take pride in defense, then that's something that you're going to want to see if you're playing defense in a video game.
Well said, Breeden Zeke, and I agree with you. Their on ball versus dribbler mechanic is done really well. I think the weakness of what they did is that you don't have the ability to get away from that guy without using the dribbling mechanics, i.e. you can't just hesitate and blow by. You know what I'm saying? You have to move him in a certain manner. But from the standpoint of a video game element, I agree with you. They handled that very well. But if you notice, especially, now bring this up because they vilified us so much for having 2P animation. That whole system is a 2P animation system.
Come here, Isaiah.
You get close, they throw you in a 2P, you bump back, and you get a 2P in a blow by. And for us, it was like, see, we told you, them 2Ps ain't going nowhere.
You know what is so funny? It's so funny you say that, right? Because I remember a long time ago, actually this was back even when Scott was working with Live. A long time ago, they talked about how they didn't want to have all of the canned 2P animation.
They talked about it like a dirty dog.
And I felt like, I don't know, and without having the technical jargon and the terms that you have access to, but I thought that I kind of talked about that relatively accurately. The thing that people love about basketball is the flow.
Yeah.
It's the movement, the flow, the whole way that everything looks like it's almost like it's a dance when it's running smooth. Up to right now, there is no way to do that, to get that visual payoff if you have all of this stop and go that people want to have with this collision detection and with the physics. You say you want that until you see it.
Right.
Until you see it. When you get it and every single bump stops you, you're going to feel like the same, because Live tried to do that. And that's why all of their players look like they're playing on a string. They jump up and down, it looks like somebody yanking them back down to the ground. And when they drive, it stops. He stops because to try to compensate for every single bump, I think the term is vertices. Every single bump and every single time an arm or leg touches the other arm or leg, if you're not in real life, that's not going to look the way you want it to look in a video game.
Yeah, hey, B, I'm sorry, B. I don't want to forget this point, man. You're making that good point. If we take it all the way back, I have been saying for years and years and years, the best video game, the most acclaimed video game has always been the one that had the best movement. It's always been the case. It hasn't been the one that had the best strategy. It hasn't been the one that replicates basketball moves. But most of the games that we considered the best at the time had bad foot planning. And it was all about how smooth they can move. Because remember when it was like 2K7 versus Live 07 or Live 06, 2K6 versus Live 06, it was like, man, 2K's alright, man, but it don't move right? Because of what you say, it's the way the game moves, it's the way the game flows. And I've always said that Live won't be better than 2K until they're a better video game. Live was always better at, you press the button, that feels good. You push this button, it always works. You know what I mean? And until they get back to that, they won't be able to be a better video game because they always were. And the best basketball video game has always been the game that moves the most like basketball. Even if they accomplish it by letting you slide all over the floor. Because people love to play basketball looks a certain way more so than other sports. That was a great point, B.
Yes.
Great point. Anything on that, Matt, before we move on?
No, I think you guys hit at just about everything. The only thing I was going to mention was that damn freaking zigzag stuff that people do.
Oh, yeah, the zigzag. But hey, I got to tell you, I've been watching some videos. Look like Live got a little zigzag action, too.
That right there, especially on Play Now Online, when and dudes know that the zigzag, they know it's unguardable. It's better than all the size ups and zigzag. They know when you play on ball, oh, I'm gonna zigzag this fool because he can't guard me.
Don't play on ball.
I feel you. Anyway, if I know a dude's gonna, if I know it's gonna be straight zigzag the whole game, oh yeah, I'm going off ball on you because I'm not gonna play that way.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
I got to tell you, man. We know internally. What's up, Books? Yo, you just listening? You gonna come in? All right. Shouts out to my man, Books Nelson. He may pop in. I think he's trying to see how the internet is working out. But as a development team, we know that's something that we really need to look at, right? We have to solve that. And people say all the time, well, man, you got all these offenses, but you don't have to use them. Well, the point is that at some point you will, and the game that we're trying to build is a game that, basketball IQ matters. It just so happens that it's not easy to do. You know what I mean? It's just not, especially with a game as big as ours. When you have a limited game, and I say this with all due respect to NBA Live, right? There's a lot of features we have in our game that they just don't have at this point. You can look at setting screens. In our game, you can call any player up for a screen, which creates different mismatches, it creates different problems. In their game, you just hold the screen button, whoever comes. Right? So there are a multitude of these little things that we have in our game that people overlook, but it creates more difficulty because our game is bigger. We have more systems. We have more systems of control. We have more, and all of these things that we have give users an opportunity to cheese the game, to make the game more difficult, to make the game more easy. Look at all the sliders and all of those options and things that we provide. Every game doesn't do that. Because for every option you provide, that's more testing, that's more this, that's more that, that's more resources, right? So our game is much, much bigger than Live's. So if you have a smaller game, it's easier to contain it. It's easier to say, well, we're only going to deal with these issues, and we're going to make a decent game based around it. And I think they do a really good job with that. For me, personally, as a consumer, it's not a good enough game overall for it to be my main game. I can't do it. They do some things really well. They do some things I really enjoy. But overall, I think if it was the only game out, I think people would be burning things down. I don't think people would be nearly as excited about it if it was, in fact, the only game that they had to play. I think it's a very good secondary game out there, and they do some things really well that I can appreciate.
It's the backup quarterback.
Basically, yeah.
It's the backup quarterback because you know how everybody's in love and infatuated with the backup quarterback on the NFL team. Everybody loves looking at. I sure wonder what Joey Polnicek could do.
But you know what? Hey, if Tom Savage was your starting quarterback, you'd be infatuated with the backup as well.
But if you look at
that's the exception to the rule.
I mean, it's crazy because 2K has gotten some of the issues this year for. I feel like I should have some lemonade. Both of y'all got lemonade, and I'm sitting up here. I don't have no lemonade. I don't understand. Y'all pass out lemonade before the show, and I come.
And it's a little more than just lemonade.
Out of pickle jar, you drink a lemonade out of a Target glass. I ain't got no lemonade. What's going on?
Hey, there's a little more than lemonade in that.
Okay, well, I definitely need to go lemonade there because I'm a little tense.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. But your face in 4K, boy, you up over.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you're new to the show, my co-host he's a hell of a guy, man. We call him Books Nelson. His name is Nelson Blake II. He's an artist. He's a writer, a musician. He's a mentor. He holds a degree from Good Brother University. I'd like to welcome him to the show. He may be in and out. He's at a comic convention right now, I believe. So he's joining us from the hotel. What's going on, Books? How you doing this evening, fam?
What's up, man? I'm doing all right. I can't find my headphones. I might have left them at the house. So you guys are coming through my phone. So I don't want you to echo, so I have to mute myself when I'm talking. So I just want to say a couple of things on the zigzag. Number one, in Pro-Am, it is defendable. And it's somewhat defendable in the park, too. I think good players can stop it and lock it down. It's not always like a guarantee because what you do is you have to guard the area where they're going, not guard the man. And this is one of those places where you're making a video game adjustment to a video game exploit, but it still falls into the overall concept of basketball. The easiest way to stop the Pro-Am is just when you're in the park and the easiest way to stop the zigzag when you're in the park and when you're in Pro-Am, you just have to communicate with your teammates and say, I'm going to guard this, you're going to guard that. Because the main thing is you know what shot they're looking for. Those pull-up fadeaway threes are not high percentage shots even for sharpshooters. So if you have
that shot.
zigzag,
are you serious?
Fadeaway three all game, they're not going to beat you like that. Like, you're going to be irritated every time it goes in. But I haven't, since the first couple of weeks of the game, lost to a team doing that. So what you really want to protect is the drive, the stop, and then pull up. Because if they stop and settle their feet and pull up, that's going to be high percentage. Or the fadeaway three in the corner, which is extremely high percentage. That's like a mid-range jumper. So good players know this, which is why you don't see them crying about the zigzag too much. It's mostly coming from players who don't know how to deal with it. And it shouldn't, and then I've been saying from the beginning, the problem is not the zigzag. The problem is that defensively, we don't get access to micro steps. We only get access to what we would call in fighting games, very high recovery steps. So when you play a fighting game, or even a game like, UFC, which is a sports fighting game, you have moves that have quick recovery, meaning the window to counter punch is very low, very small, or you have moves with big recovery, knowing that if you miss that move, the counter to that is very strong. This same concept is happening on offense and defense in 2K, but for some reason, the local motion on defense is all high recovery. Basically, you can't do anything good on defense without putting a massive amount of recovery. The way 2K compensates for this is it's the same thing for a couple of years now. It's opposite world. So where positioning should be very strong and going for a block should be very weak, or going for a contest from behind should be very weak, it's the reverse. Positioning is very weak, contesting from behind is very strong, going for a block is very strong, unless the guy's under the basket, in which case, jumping, stop pressing that triangle and Y button, it's going to get you in trouble. Tell everybody to stop being nervous. But, so that's the thing with the zigzag. The problem is not the zigzag, because if you just look at the person doing it on screen, not being defended, you're not saying to yourself, man, how's he moving left and right so fast? It looks like an okay motion.
Hit one.
The problem is defensively, you don't have access to a defensive zigzag to keep pace with it. There's an immense amount of recovery on your attempt to from a defensive stance position, which needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I agree, Brooke. That's something that we've got to close the door on that. And this is just me personally speaking. I'm not speaking for 2K here. This is me as an individual who happens to work in gaming saying, yeah, that's something that needs to be addressed. I think it's a problem that we can solve. You know, I think we upgraded a few motion systems. We thought that would get it. It didn't quite, but I think this last motion system upgrade will give us the tools we need. Now it's about how do we logically implement the things that Brooks is talking about. That particular movement that's in between slow movement and fast movement. And he's talking about it in terms of recovery. But I'm talking about it in terms of movement that a user has access to, you know what I mean? And there's this explosive quick stop, change of direction movement that we have to get into the game and put that into a control so a user knows when they're going to get into that particular control. One thing that I think Live does really well is they will automatically speed you up according to the speed of the ball handler. So you're just pressing your stick. If he's going real fast, then you're going real fast. And so that's why you have that thing where you almost can't get away from the guy that's guarding you. Right, but it's an effective way to perform that mechanic and to give the user that feeling. And it's like if I'm pressing stick left and he's going to his right, my left, and I'm staying in front of him, I'm happy, right? I don't really care that they sped me up to do that. That's a different philosophical thing. Maybe some people on our side are like, nah, we have to give the user a way to control that speed. We don't just want to automatically do it because now we're into mind reading, right? We have to know that the user wanted to do that and we have to make it accurate to that. So it's just a different philosophy. But at this point today, I think Live definitely handles that better. I would say conversely also, though, that Live's ball handler isn't as free as ours. You don't have as much creativity to get away from a defender to completely lose him. I would say at the same time, our body up system is too generous, right? But anytime you see something like that in our game, you say, man, they really need to fix these body ups. And I'm giving you some inside info right here. and you don't see anything in patch notes about it, it's probably because it's too big to be addressed in a patch. And I would probably be safe to say at some point in the future, you could look for upgrading it. That would be safe to say. If you looked at how we handle other things, usually it's a big problem in the community, you don't see anything about the patch notes about it, then the game comes out and it's like, oh, there's a major area of focus because it probably needed to be rewritten, as opposed to trying to piece something together to make it look right when it's not actually going to be right.
Yeah, I think I love what you just said, and I actually that man, with the way Books just broke that down. See, that's why you do actually need somebody in the room who is not just a sports game.
Right.
You know, because you need because that concept of relating it to the fighting games, because in that individual instance where it's ball handler on defender, that is a fighting game. It's a fighting game without strikes. You know, so it's all about positioning. So the same idea and concept that goes into that in terms of getting advantage and losing advantage has to be in there. And that's what he's talking about there. And I think that was a really, really good way to put that. Now, what you were talking about, Czar, on live, where they speed up the defender to make sure that you're staying, that also throws ratings out of the window. Because now, why is Doug McDermott running with LeBron James?
Right.
Simply because I'm holding the guard closely button, and now he's on his hip. We both know if LeBron bears down right as hard as he can go from one side of the floor to the next, unless McDermott gets some help, McDermott's not going to be able to stay in.
He's out of it.
He's going to get left.
That's actually a great point, and I brought this up with Czar, I think before 2K18 came out, and it's still a problem now, although it's been improved since 2K17. But the bottom line is, every animation in the game is not
Screens, man.
So the players will spontaneously act far outside of their rating because they're in an animation that is not governed by the rating system. So one example of this is actually a body hit. If you're moving, 2K has this. If I'm moving with a player and they're trying to give me a ride animation, it doesn't matter how slow he is, he'll stick with me, and you'll see a really goofy thing like Porzingis zooming across screen really, really fast because he's caught up in that animation. Same thing for hustle plays, jumping after the ball. Even though this doesn't really affect gameplay because there's no real loose ball mechanic for yet another year. No.
Just finish making your point, Books.
But it doesn't affect gameplay because there's no loose ball mechanic. Look at the speed at which big men launch themselves after the ball and which point guards launch themselves after the ball. Big men are in that instance allowed to move just as fast as point guards.
How's that a defensive breakdown?
Probably the most is in chase down blocks. Now I realize there's a chase down badge, but everybody has it. Point is, no matter how far you are ahead of the player in transition, when they jump behind you, they get a completely ungoverned block attempt on your player. So a center with a 34 speed will move at worst like he has a 75 speed once he presses that Y button, which is not governed. So, and it should be regulated by his wingspan being so long. But because he gets that speed boost, you see, again, people will contest from behind, and people will be afraid to take a layup in transition because the flying leap of the centers with their really long wingspans is ungoverned by speed ratings and allowing them to play transition deep. Whereas in real life basketball, most of those guys, 99% of the centers in the league, are completely out of that play once the point guard is, a step in front of them. Or before they cross the half-court line. You see, they stop running in them. John Wall gets a break, not even as fast as John Wall. Kemba Walker gets on the break. LeBron's special is that LeBron is fast enough to chase a point guard down court. That's not true for 99.9% of the league, and it should be that way for 2K in terms of making the archetypes. This would make defensive players special, but because it's not governed by the ratings, this is why defensive players are so weak, because so many moves in the game aren't governed by stats, so you don't need to put anything into them. The only stat that really covers defensive movement on everything is the passive statistic of weight.
Good stuff, Books. I think to your point of animations governing outcomes rather than ratings, Mike came out, Beluga came out this year, and he said, hey, and this happens a lot between developers and marketing, right? Mike was saying, hey, the dribbler is no longer in that same situation where you would get an animation and it would speed up or slow down. He's like, the dribbler is controlled by physics, right? No more will he be pulled into faster or slower animations because the animation is all based on physics. And people took that to mean, oh, there's no more 2P animations. And that, no, what he was talking about, what Mike was excited about, he works on the dribbler. So he's saying the dribbler himself will no longer suffer from exactly what you were talking about in the chase down block, right? So it took us all year to put the dribbler and the defender by themselves in that system, right? Well, now the rest of the game needs to also be included in that system, but it's not today. The body up system is not in that system. So that's why you see that the block system is not in that system. And I think users, when they hear somebody say something, oh, the dev team, he said this, he's talking about the part of the game he works on is governed by physics. Right? But everybody took it to mean, oh, no, there's no more keying. And that's what he meant. It meant that if he crosses over and comes back, it's at the speed that he was doing that at, not because he got a really super fast animation. Like the animations don't drive it anymore. That new motion system drives it. But that's just for the dribbler as long as he's not touching anybody. When he's touching people, that's a different system. Blocks are a different system. Yeah, we said the body ups. The post is a different system. So when you hear developers say, hey man, we developed this new system, they're telling you very specifically where it applies. It applies here and here. Gamers think it applies over the whole game. No, that's a 4 or 5 year implementation you're talking about. So next year you might see them say something else about this motion system, and the general fan is going to say, oh, you said that last year. But no, it applies to different areas of the game.
On, man.
And so I think that's a very fair critique by Books, but I think it's also something that over time we will address. We've seen the need for it. We identified a system we think can do it, but there's no way you can implement that game-wide, you know? But the difference between having the developer speak and marketing speak is two different things, right? The marketer heard, no more 2P animate, you know what I mean? So now that's what they're saying, right? And as soon as somebody gets in the game and catches a 2P, they're like, oh, 2K live. And it's like, no, the developer tried to tell you, but the marketer was saying something a little bit different. And, you know, who's really splitting hairs? Because marketing is not for people that watch the Sim Hangout, right? If you watch this show, you're into another level of information. They're talking to people that won't hear about a basketball game again until next year, September, October, here.
Shizar, I had a quick question. Because first of all, I agree. Hopefully I mentioned it at the beginning. The dribbling is much more consistent in terms of your dribble rating. You can almost feel every single improvement in your dribble rating with the speed at which you do dribble moves and explode out of it. So here's a question for you. They did a really nice thing with the jumpers where the speed of your jump shot is regulated by your height, right? So if you're either 6'4" or 6'3" and under, I think it's 6'4" and under, you can shoot a very, very quick jump shot. As a big, you don't have access to that. One of the main reasons 2K has struggled with smaller players being as effective as their real-life counterparts, so like an Isaiah Thomas, not nearly as effective, because his layup animations don't have the same benefit. He doesn't get very fast layups. Whereas, you know, in real life, I mean, when you see him do that in person, he puts that shot up, you can see how it's hard to block because you don't know when it's going up, and when it does go up, you have to react very quickly to the location, which is how he can average 30 points a game, right? Nearly lead in scoring.
Right.
At 5'9", allegedly, he's really probably 5'7". So, come on. So,
I keep saying 5'7".
Or in a patch, to give the smaller players faster layups, which would help the situation with the recovery, because the speed of the layup animation is what allows the bigs to recover so well.
Yeah, that needs a more comprehensive change to make that so, more so than just dropping faster layup animations in the game, as far as I know. Now, again, those are not my systems. I don't run those systems, but it's a more comprehensive change. It's somewhat akin to, it could be game breaking. It really could break the game. And so to do that, you have to change and make an account for that in the shot blocking. You have to make an account for that in the help defensive and recovery times. Like, that needs a more comprehensive solution. But that is something I could say that we're aware of. You know, we are conscious of that being an issue, but it's comprehensive. That's the best I could say. It's comprehensive. That's an excellent question. Excellent question. All right. I thought that was a great. These are conversations that, as far as I know, you're only going to hear here on the Sim Hangout. I don't know anybody else getting into these things at these steps with the quality of individuals we have here. However, some people do show up to the Sim Hangout to talk about NBA basketball. I want to take this back. I had a question. Every once in a while I come up with, who would you rather build a team around? And today, I got the question. In today's NBA, who are you taking? You got one pick. You have to pick between these two players, Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry. Who wants this question?
I got it.
Go ahead.
Everybody that knows me knows I'm a big Steph Curry fan. Been a fan of this guy since he was a freshman at Davidson. Hands down, it has to be him. He's the better shooter. He's a better defensive player. I know everybody looks at him like he's just this trash defensive player. That's not actually true. You look, everything Golden State does offensively, it's because of him. You take him out of that lineup, you literally have to guard this guy the minute he catches the ball inbounds. His range is limitless. He'll one step past half court cash money. And you got to take the guy. Kyrie Irving, the dude can get buckets, and everybody says what a great finisher he is. But Steph Curry's a better finisher at the rim than him. Even the percentage will show, and not just advanced stats and all that crap, but Curry is one of the best finishing guards percentage-wise at the rim in the entire league. So he's even a better finisher than Kyrie. It has to be him.
All right.
I don't think it's close.
B. Mazik, where you at? And you can't pick Derrick Rose. It's Kyrie Irving.
Not me. I would take Steph myself. For me, I just think that Steph is a little bit more of a complete player than Kyrie. I also think that Steph is an easier personality to build around and for others to argue with, which I think is also very important. I think that Steph is a more willing passer than Kyrie, and I do know that Kyrie has made some efforts to transform his game. But I put it like this: Kyrie is the best finisher at the basket that I have ever seen for a guy 6'2" and under. I've never seen a guy 6'2" and under that finished at the basket better than him. The only other person that's close to me is Tony Parker in his prime. Both of those guys finish at the basket at a way that's like, how in the world did you get that off that square? They get to the basket, they get contested by bigs. In some way, they get that ball on that square and it's dropping through. And it's an uncanny ability. But the part of this is the way the game is being played right now. And it's not as if Kyrie's not a good three-point shooter. Kyrie's an excellent shooter. But it's not the same impact on the game that Steph sees. Steph's three-point shooting literally changes the way every defense has to defend the team that he's on. And Kyrie still does a lot of his work inside the three-point line. And three's more than two.
Okay. Does anybody change their opinion being that he doesn't have to guard his position? His big brother Klay Thompson guards the other terrors of the league for him. Does that reduce your thoughts on Steph Curry at all?
Well, for me, absolutely not guard nobody either. You know what I mean? I mean, Kyrie's best defense is I'm coming down here, I'm scoring you. That's his idea of defense. Now, he's playing a little bit more defense this year because Brad Stevens demands it, and he's trying to prove something to LeBron. And he's trying to prove something to everybody that said that he wouldn't win without LeBron. So he knows that he needs to be more of a complete player. But up until this year, I'll put it like this. Steph, I remember Kyrie getting similar numbers to what he's getting now and what he got last year for horrible Cleveland Cavaliers.
Isaiah, I'm going to make your dad work for you. Yeah, because I'm over here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't eat that rubber. That's Daddy.
So much has been said about the role Shammy has played in your release season. Hey, do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, they played good defense. Really did. Unforced errors. And the thing about it.
Eat some meatball, and then you get shit. If you don't eat that meatball, you get no shit. Mm-mm.
Sit down. There we go. Eat. You don't eat, you don't get no cookies. You gotta eat that.
Chucky? All right, then don't eat food.
No cookies.
No.
playing. Do you hear me? Stop playing. Sit down and eat. Sit down and eat. Don't play at the table. Sit down and eat. Eat. Sit in your room. You don't want to eat? Eat. There you go. Eat. Eat. Shut up. Different? Huh? How you at?
Me. Every day. I want 2 cents. What? Talking.
You want 2 cents?
I know. No. Yes, I do. That's the money though. Where's the whole burger? Big enough.
Eat your food.
So you want some pasta and meatballs?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to eat your food up?
They heat it up here in the morning. The lunches are at like 11:30.
11 o'clock.
Remember I told you they sent an email telling people stop bringing their food and hot lunches? Because they're bringing them in to the office. Like, calling kids out fast for the food and stuff like that.
Where's your cups?
Face. Okay.
Don't make a hole in it.
Huh? Big as mango.
No, please. Don't just use that. Where the one?
What?
No, Daddy, no.
What? Yeah, you better eat those food
Yeah, eat no meatballs.